I still haven't read the zero volume for Jujutsu Kaisen. I know there's a volume zero, and it has like backstories of the events between like Satoru and Geto, but I haven't read it yet. I haven't been able to find it. I haven't looked too hard though, so I mean, probably partially why I need to. But this was very much appreciated since then because of the fact that I don't know a lot of the backstory stuff between the two characters. You know, the relationship. I need to get to that soon, but for now we got it in this chapter, a little glimpse. For one, we also got a we got a results on the popularity poll. At least the first three. Yuji getting the first, yeah, he's the main character, makes sense. Second, Megumi, again, makes sense after like that chapter recently. Like, I feel like if this was done like right after Satoru, showed up on the battlefield and just pretty much like swung his hand and tore like a giant gash in the like across that forest, he might have been first, but like the the fact that it took place like a little bit after that, and then you had like that badass partial like area expansion with Megumi was. I felt like that was guaranteed to get him like a high place, and then Yuji obviously is the main character, so him getting a high place makes sense. Satoru not being the first though is a little bit surprising, just because he seems like the most fun. Like him and Mahito seem like the most fun characters. My favorite is Hanami, but I just like the evolution of his character in such a short period of time. But also his design and his fighting style, I think, is very interesting. We get this kind of like flashback between. It starts out with Utahime and Mei, and they're just like they're in some building. They talk about how like there's a cursed spirit that's pretty much been like folding space in that area. So the hallway they're gonna go is like going forever, and they're like they were in like it was like 15 kilometers in 30 minutes, and they're like trying to figure out like a strategy, like looking at the situation and like thinking like, okay, we have to think of a plan. Maybe if we go different directions, if we move sporadically, it'll get messed up, and then we'll be able to trick it. Not the case, because like you see like the walls and the ceiling start to crack, and then like the building just like breaks, but like the area that they were in kind of like condenses, like a center point of gravity, which is really kind of cool. Like it's like you've seen gravity manipulation like in series before, like all the stuff in an area can't get crushed into one spot. Maybe they'll make like a little sphere of condensed material. And we don't know the full like description of Satoru's powers, but like I wouldn't put it past him to have gravity manipulation too, or at least like the application of his powers to make it look like it. Well, he's got like the inverse and then reverse kind of like energy flow with what, and then like the area around his body that makes so people can't really touch him, the infinity as he called it, I believe. I have to go back and check, but like he shows up and he's just trolling because we know Utahime, she doesn't like him, at all. There's actually a part when it's like describing like giving a little bit of like character information, like her thing, obviously she doesn't like she doesn't like Satoru. It was like he trolls the shit out of her. Like he came to help, and he's like saying like, "Oh, or you're crying? Oh, that sucks." Because like one of the things like you say in this part is because that as right now in the story they're both special grades. I'm pretty sure she's special. Yeah, she's one of the special grades, and he's like the strongest member, at least that we know of the Jujutsu sorcerers. Unless there's maybe like, oh, there's other sects out in the world, but it's like top secret, and maybe there's like a couple characters around Satoru's level. Who knows? That's a mystery. But for right now, we know he's the strongest. He's like the biggest deal, and so he's like it shows in this one that he's a second year in the school, while she is a grade 2, and he just like flexing on her, showing off how strong he is, like teasing her, asking her, and she's crying. And obviously, that's gonna annoy the living shit out of her. She already seems a little bit short tempered, but you have this person who's clearly like he's younger than you, less experienced, and yet he's just this much more powerful. Probably gonna bug the crap out of her. Plus, he likes to troll her, which is extra funny. And then meanwhile, May is like, "Oh, if I cry, will you console me? I wouldn't mind that." She's flexing on him, trying to maybe get some hands on. He can do it. I believe in Satoru. We don't know. We don't know how that story goes. May is she seems very confident of herself, and she might want to get some of that Satoru dick. Who knows? Meanwhile, while Utahime is like getting mad at him, assuming the cursed spirit that was like messing with that whole space, it like comes up, but behind it, like in the next panel, it gets consumed, and you see Geto, and Geto, the I'm guessing this is gonna have mainly his power. And his creature, I can't tell if it's supposed to be like a caterpillar thing, maybe some form of beast. Because if it's something like a caterpillar, and then like maybe it'll have different stages, and that'll be like part of his power. Because I doubt it's literally just like, oh yeah, my ability is to make a big monster come up and eat him. Like that would seem kind of lame. There's got to be extra layers to it, because if he's like a summoner kind of character, kind of like Megumi. Megumi's thing, like, he's got multiple, but like as they get destroyed, like the power slowly moves into other ones. Like specific ones can't be destroyed, and then his fucking awesome area expansion. But anyway, that's not really this. So we get to see Geto and Satoru before we got to them where they are now in the series. This was a really nicely placed flashback. I'm guessing this is going to have to do with like rank ups and like moving up in the ranks, promotion stuff, because we know that the main characters are about to go through a rank promotion to first grade. And with that, this is going to show us like both a flashback, see a little bit of the history of some of the characters, but also we're going to be getting like an idea maybe of what exactly is ahead for us. So what's ahead of for Yuji, Kugisaki, Gumi, everybody. Getting very interesting. We'll see how it goes. But for now, while all this happens, this other character, Joko, I feel like she's one of these characters. Like I feel like she's introduced, and yet I just don't remember this character. I still need to do a Jujutsu Kaisen reread. I'm planning on doing that soon because I want to get refreshed on a lot of the stuff. Some of the I'd say the first like 20 something chapters are very waned on me, and then like all this stuff with like Mahito's battle, and then the Kyoto versus Tokyo stuff is still pretty fresh in my mind. I need to reread some stuff, but like this character shows up, and Urahime seems like the friend's happy to see her, and she just doesn't want her to end up like kind of like Satoru or Geto, who are just kind of like jackasses. Well, I'd say that Geto doesn't seem like a jackass. He just seems kind of like the opposition to Satoru. Just if you took Satoru out of it, Geto seems like he'd probably be like a really chill dude. But Satoru obviously causes problems for him. But from this, you get this dude, grade one, Yaga. I think is that the dude with the sunglasses that we saw pretty early on. He helped. I think he was part of the training for Yuji. I have to go back and look. That dude, I feel like we've seen before. And they're talking about Tengen, and I remember I think Tengen is the dude who's immortal. He's like one of the higher ups, and he's like talking to them. He's like, okay, we got stuff to do. And while like he leaves the room, you get a cool interaction between Satoru, Shoko, and Geto, and they're like talking about like, because they didn't put a screen up when they went to go fight the cursed spirit, and so like the news is reporting on this. The news is reporting on everything because they didn't put up the curtain, so all the damage was done. People found out about it, and now there's like, hey, you guys aren't following proper procedures. You need to do this so this kind of shit doesn't happen. And Zoro's just like, I don't want to. That's dumb. Why are we putting stuff on this? They're like explaining, because that obviously like the panic and the issues would help the cursed spirits. They gotta keep somewhat in check to to kind of keep everything on the down low, to try and keep it isolated as much as possible. Makes sense, and obviously like damage issues, but from that, they're just like, okay, we need to make sure, because we're supposed to protect weak people. Satoru doesn't want that. He doesn't want to protect the weak. It seems like annoying to him. But from that, it's like, I don't. Why? Like, it's not something I enjoy. I hate doing that. Being righteous is dumb. I don't feel like doing that. All this stuff that we're talking about is garbage. I don't want to do this. I just want to. He pretty much just wants to like take down cursed spirits and fight. He just seems like that. And then Geto, you get this like cool panel of them, getting that like close to fighting time, and he's like, let's step outside, and Sora's like, no, go by yourself, I don't feel like it. But like behind Geto, you see this like portal open, and this like bloody like spewing creatures like looking at him, like hands coming out. So I'm wondering what like the full extent to his power is, because so far a lot of like characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, their powers are very simplistic in like description, but very like flexible in how they use them. Like just go look at Hanami's powers. His powers are very simple, but very flexible, and he's able to use them in various ways. And then you even get cool stuff like that like seedling explosion attack, where if you block with your their spiritual power, it will actually feed off that and do more damage, which I thought was a really cool kind of like I wouldn't really call it a fake out, but kind of like sort of a fake out like attack. I don't know, but it just his power seems weird. Like Geto's power seems weird. Like it looks like there's some form of facial fuckery in there. He's probably got a slew of creepy creatures that he's got going. That one doesn't look like the one from earlier, the one that ate the one that was like messing with base around that building. But from that, they're then given a task, and it's from like Master Tengen, and they have to. They said that the star plasma vessel has this match. They have to escort this girl and then kill her. So I'm wondering how this is gonna like turn out for them. Because one of the things that I do know about the Volume Zero is there's this comment from Satoru where he says like love is probably the most wicked curse of all or something like that, and I can kind of see what he means, but like the way that that can like skew people's like ideals and like decisions, you've seen enough stories where like just because a character where like maybe one of the characters falls in love with this chick, and the reason why maybe Geto, maybe that's why he turns on the Jujutsu sorcerers, maybe he falls in love with the chick, and the fact that they have to kill her, he's not willing to do that, and turmoil will occur. Interesting, very interesting of how this is going to go. I like the interactions between them. Like I said, I haven't read Volume Zero. I've only looked at a little bit of it, but the whole mystery of why Geto like betrays or at least like abandons the Jujutsu sorcerers is a tale definitely be told. It's definitely an interesting kind of story that I see along the way. Just like these two like pretty skilled characters, because now Satoru is like top dog, at least in terms of power within the sorcerers. But like he still seems the same troublemaker, but he seems a lot nicer. And instead of being a dick, he's just so overconfident and trying like cocky about it. But he's not like as much of a some like rude teenage asshole. So I definitely look forward to seeing like more of him. So Satoru is one of those characters that it's like anytime he's on screen is going to be interesting. He just has that vibe about him. So we'll look forward to the next chapter. We gotta and unfortunately wait another week. I'm wondering how long this flashback is going to be. Probably I'm gonna guess like another four, probably another 4 chapters. Get us kind of like eased in, get a little insight on all these other characters before we get back to the main cast and them going into this promotional exam. So look forward to that. I'm wondering who they're going to team up with too, if it's going to be with characters already existent, because it's going to be like probably Yuji is the one we're going to see first. I'm guessing because he's the main character. But I'm wondering like who they're going to get teamed up with, like if it's going to be a new character or an old character we've already seen. The only thing we know is they can't go on missions with the characters that proposed the advancement for them. So what's that, Mei and Toto, pretty easy to like draw out. But this could be also be a way to bring in new characters, new like powerful high up Jujutsu characters, or maybe just like characters who are like also like will be important in the future. Just like, oh, I'm a grade one. I'm not the too big deal, and then maybe turned around. Who knows? Other than that, drop a comment below on what you thought about this fun one, and with a beautiful new volume cover background from Mojito. So that's always good. Other than that, though, tell me in the comments what you thought about this. Again, I really like the character interactions and the insight on their backstory. I think a lot of interesting lore and character, kind of like it's not, I guess not even fleshed out because it's a flashback. I guess it's more of like explanation for their current ones. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Other than that, like I said, comment below, thumbs up the video, find the like button and the subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Beyond that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.